Hello friends, welcome to Not Just a Girl, the tattoo podcast where every week I speak to socially conscious tattooers about their lives and art practice through an intersectional feminist lens. I'm Eddy, and thank you for joining me for episode 10. Today we'll be discussing cultural influences, family, and spirituality in tattooing. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are the traditional custodians of this land that was stolen and never ceded. I am honoured and grateful to be on the ancestral land of the Awabakal people, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present and extend my recognition to their descendants. Today I get to speak with the resplendent Swasthik Iyengar. She works at Trailer Trash Tattoo in Brisbane with Mimsy, who featured in a previous episode. Swastik's work really tells a story. It consists of clean, bold lines, strong, bright colours, with imagery and symbols that are imbued with her spirituality and history. I'm so excited to chat to you today. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited and nervous, eh?
Yeah. It's so nerve-wracking doing an interview.
It is, definitely. Yeah, but thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like we've talked before about how tattooing runs in your family in India, and I'd really love to know more about that and how it's shaped your own practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from the south, and Nan is in Chennai, and she's been tattooing for over 40 years now.
It's amazing.
It's a little bit different over there. It's not like you have an apprenticeship and you start painting flash. It's sort of like you get initiated, or it runs in the family. Wow. And it's usually because it's for I would say initiation markings, or if someone's really sick and they went and saw a medicine healer, they would come to see my nan and get certain markings on their body to try and help them get cured. So young girls going into womanhood would get markings and would come see my nan. Wow. So it's such a special thing. It is. Wow, it's so really
there's a
special.
lot of power behind the tattoos, like they're a form of medicine.
Definitely, yeah.
That's incredible.
And she makes her own medicine too. Like growing up over there, if I had a really sore belly, I remember she would put gualana, which is like this white paste, and she'd put it on my belly, and in a couple of hours my stomach ache would go. So wow. It's all really old there. It's really sort of traditional, and it's old. When you're out in India, there's not really any access to going into town or getting Panadol. Everything's sort of natural and organic. So yeah, that's Nan.
That's amazing. There must be, like, being self-sufficient in that way and learning how to take care of yourself from the earth is such a powerful thing.
It's special, and it helps me today, and I think it'll help me for the rest of my life. It's having that connection to the land, the ancestors, and my gods, my elders. It's shaped me as a person from such a young age, and then moving to Australia, and it's shaped my practice in with everything, not just tattooing. So
I feel like you can really read a rich history in the work that you do and see that those symbols you use are very personal to you.
They are. I with some of the Indian pattern work I do, like the kolam, is all things that I would see Party, my nana, and also my aunties and my sisters, my cousins, would always draw these patterns with organic powders and dirt in the sand in front of the houses. They all have different meanings too. Like, it depends on if there's a festival during that time, or if you're inviting a particular god, like say you're trying to invite baby Krishna or Ganesh, who's the remover of obstacles, or perhaps it's a full moon. And so all the symbols, I think it's just learnt behaviour. You know, it's just like it's just memory etched into me. And so I just thought, instead of drawing or painting things that I'm not familiar with, maybe incorporating some of this stuff into my practice might, I don't know, might just help me, or
It brings something really special, I think, to tattooing, because I've never seen, at least, you know, in my experience and in what I know about Australian tattooing, I've not seen the kind of imagery that you bring. And it's very, very special to see something so powerful and so new, but so old at the same time.
Thanks so much, Eddy. It's you're making me nervous now. I don't know. It's like, I guess I still try and make it so that it works alongside principles of tattooing.
Yeah.
You know, but
it definitely has elements of Western traditional, like with the strong, bold lines, the use of open skin and saturated colours.
Yeah, see, that's it. Like, I think during my apprenticeship days, like, I was painting flash, and I, you know, was redrawing Sailor Jerry and
awesome,
and all of that stuff. You know, painting Sailor Jerry flash, and so that sort of taught me and still teaches me. Like, I still got to do colour studies. Hey, like, I can't just paint or do stuff from the top of my head.
Yeah,
things take way longer. Yeah, I can't, you know. So I think I've sort of try and keep to that, and by having that and practicing that, I sort of am still trying to attempt to, like, fit my imagery, or the Hindu imagery, and traditional pattern work within that sort of American traditional, or, you know, traditional tattooing context.
Yeah, it works really beautifully.
Oh, thanks, Eddy.
Like,
glad you like it.
with the imagery you're using, like, you know, this kind of visual language, has that been something that's inherited from your grandma? Is it something that it's more just used broadly within that religion, or does your family create their own, or have you created your own?
Yeah, I think it's like all of the above, to be honest. I think the imagery comes from temples, from Hindu stories.
Yeah.
People adapt. When you go to people's houses in India, there's obviously like the common thread of particular rituals and having the images, or having a particular style of god, or setting it up in a certain way, but people might adapt drawing the traditional column differently depending on who's taught them, or how they like it. And I think some of the spiritual stuff that I've done just comes from meditation. It's not necessarily a depiction of an exact story, but a couple of different elements intertwined into sort of one painting.
Yeah.
So I meditate like all the time, a lot. So I sort of get to see these things sort of come up randomly. Sometimes, like, even when I'm sleeping at nighttime, I'll just have weird dreams about it, and I'll remember it, or wake up and write it down, and start a new day, think about a new painting for the next day.
I really love
Yeah.
that idea of you finding the images like inside yourself, because it's just such a strong connection and it's so much more authentic and powerful. It's something that I think a lot of us could learn to do, like using meditation as a way of finding ourselves in our art making.
Yeah, it's so hard, hey. It's like what I was saying to you earlier, like I think meditation is just as hard as working out. Say if you want to, you know, tone up, that doesn't happen overnight. And I feel like with meditation, with me, I'm still struggling. You know, even though I've done it for so long, there'll be moments where I don't meditate, and trying to get back into meditation is very tricky.
Yeah.
But through meditation and through yoga, I do a lot of yoga as well, and just eating healthy. And I can start to I can start to bring in higher thoughts and like just organic thoughts sort of come to me naturally when I'm in sort of a peaceful state, you know, a kind of a quiet state, a focused state. When I don't meditate, I feel like my thoughts are kind of scattered and I'm a little bit stressed.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help my tattoo practice either. So
because tattooing's already so stressful.
It's so highly strung. Hey, every tattoo, seriously. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a special. Everyone's got their own meditation too. Like I think, so you'd have your particular meditation. Like I think even doing art is a meditative practice because you're sitting there drawing for, you know, some people can draw stuff so quickly. It takes me about, when I'm working on a big painting, it takes me like 2 days to draw, 3 days to draw, and then another week to paint it. And it could be the most simplest subject matter, but I think that process is still meditation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very slow and measured process for me too. And I was, we were talking earlier, but I mentioned how I didn't even realize that I actually do kind of use meditation in my process. Like I just hadn't put that word to it. Like every single tattoo I do, before I do it, I kind of, while I'm doing the line drawing for the stencil, I'm sitting there visualizing the whole process, and I visualize how I'm going to approach it, how I'm going to breathe, how I'm going to pull my hand, everything. So like I come to that tattoo almost having done it already.
Yeah.
And then I feel heaps more balanced and relaxed coming into it. Whereas before that, I'm like butterflies, nerves. I feel like I need to go have a bit of a cry in the bathroom before the client arrives.
Yes. I think like, and it's so interesting you say that, because at the end of the day, tattooing is just ritual, right? Like when you set up your machines, nothing sort of changes. You've got your own way, your own setup, the way you set up your machines, the way you put on a stencil, or it's such a ritual, it's such a meditative practice.
Yeah, I think we really forget that and remove ourselves from that, like how ritualistic it is.
Yeah.
Like
true.
We act like it's just a job, but it's actually so much more than that, and it comes with this entire like history of traditions.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's so sacred. I think it's really special. I don't know. I don't really look. It is a job, but I'm lucky. I'm lucky. I don't know what else I would do if I wasn't tattooing. I love it, and I think, you know, whilst it is a job, and I am providing a service to people to the best I can, to the best of my abilities, I'm still immersed in such a beautiful craft that allows, it allows me to see things differently. It allows me to love art. It allows me to explore my mind and to explore subjects however I would like to, within the context of art, also within the context of tattooing. Like, everyone's skin is different. Everyone has a different body shape, size. Everyone's unique and beautiful.
Absolutely.
So it's, for sure it's a job, but it's, to me, I'd like to say that it's, it's like, it's like my calling.
Yeah.
I know that sounds lame, but I really don't know what else I would do if I wasn't tattooing. It's really special.
Yeah, I don't think that's lame at all. I think a lot of us feel that way, like where it's the only thing that makes sense for us to do. Like, you know, we obviously have other things going on in our lives that we love, but
yes,
you know, in terms of what we commit the majority of our time to, it's just what else would there be?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I have so many other different hobbies and things that I love doing, I'm immersed into, or like reading about. But if I was to choose something else to do, I wouldn't know. You know, I'd be terrible in an office job.
Yeah.
And I respect people in office jobs because I just couldn't do what they could do at all. Hey, like, but it's really special, I reckon, Eddy. You're right.
Yeah, I'm always very thankful. Definitely. Like, you know, I'll have my little moments where I sook about a frustrating email or a difficult experience, but at the end of the day, like, it's just complete and utter gratitude.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Do you find with your work, you know, because you know, it's a big part of your spiritual practice as well. Do you find that, you know, it's almost like a way of inviting a conversation with your clients, like, you know, they're connecting to that imagery themselves and exploring their own spirituality, and that's why they come to you?
I think a lot of my clients sort of, some of them have been to India, some of them know the Hindu stories and can relate to the god, or have really enjoyed their time in India, and some of my clients sort of have their own imagery and their own spirituality, and want me to sort of come up with something that represents that.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, I always have great conversations with my clients, and often it is pretty trippy. It gets
Awesome.
pretty deep, but in such a beautiful way too. It's never like too much. It's been just a really beautiful connection and a really beautiful exchange. So I think I've forgotten the question now. I mean, I think people come to me for a whole different, all sorts of reasons, whether they're into the story, whether they're into the god, whether they've been to India, whether they're going to India, whether they have their own spiritual practice, you know, whether they, like me and them, are on the same vibe or into the same things. But in any case, like, it's a shared experience, and it's always a lovely time. I always end up being friends with my clients.
Oh, that's so nice.
There's never a time where I don't think I've felt uncomfortable or sort of frustrated. I've been really blessed to have beautiful people cross my path in the way of people that get tattooed, and to share stories. I think that's my favorite part of this craft or this practice, is that connection. There's so many connections, isn't there? Like, there's the connection that you have to, like, the art. So when you start off and you're creating flash or whatever, then the connection that you have to the actual craft, because you're on your own and it's really scary because you're
So
marking people
scary.
permanently, right? And then you have that connection that you have with the client, and then to have to juggle but not to be, to make it real. Like if I'm stressed about a tattoo, like I'll tell my clients, like, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be real quiet now because I've got to focus. Like it's really comfortable that way, I think,
Yeah. I think when we can communicate with them really honestly, they appreciate it too.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I think like there's no other way. You just got to be like honest.
Yeah.
There's been moments where just a shared silence has been really nice.
Yeah. And it's such an intimate thing that sometimes that silence, it can be really like restorative or healing.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Have you ever had people sort of say to you that like they sort of enjoy the pain and they don't talk, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Because I find that they find the pain like a real healing process.
Yeah, it's almost like reminding them of the body they're in, or, I don't know. Yeah, it grounds them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's it. Like everyone's got their own perspective on why they get tattooed and what it means to them or what it doesn't mean to them. Maybe they just want to get something fun, or maybe they want a bet or a dare, or maybe it's initiation. So
yeah,
all different reasons. Hey,
I do think that like in a lot of ways getting tattooed is a radical act. Like, even if it's just for fun, like just to be able to permanently mark your body in the sake of fun is radical. Or whether you're doing it because of that just innate drive to express yourself or to be a part of a group or a culture.
For sure. 100%. Yeah, for sure. I think so. I do believe that. I think it's yeah, man. I remember like when I first started getting tattooed, and it was to fit in, but to fit in because I was so angry at my parents. I was actually really angry for being Indian because I wasn't having a good time in the Western world.
I'm so sorry.
And oh no. It's all history, it's all lessons, and you grow, and it's so old. This is like ages ago. It's like 20 years ago. But I remember like I wasn't that religious back then either. I think I was like it was like when you're 17, 18, that kind of thing, and just mad and angry at the world. And I started getting tattoos because I could see that the people that I could see that were getting tattoos were different, and they were unique and beautiful, and they didn't conform. So I started getting the gods tattooed on me, my Hindu gods tattooed on me. But it made my mum really mad because in our tradition, you need to get like this is when I was 18. In our tradition, you need to get permission from the gods before you get them tattooed on you because it's a huge thing. Like, and I know that sounds crazy, but
no, it doesn't.
It's like a respect thing. If you're going to get Kali Ma on your back, you need to ask for permission because she can cause you havoc. And so I did, and my mum was like so mad at me, and that was I guess it's like what you were saying. It was very radical. I was trying to fit in. I felt like the people that were my friends that got tattoos didn't conform to everyone else, So it is a really radical kind of thing to do for sure.
And it sounds like, like it was a way of you finding yourself and like setting yourself apart and starting yourself on this journey.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was because, you're looking at your body every day and you see the tattoos. It's not like they can go anywhere, hey, and
Yeah.
it's just on you forever, and it's a part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It did. Sorry, love, what you
Oh,
want
no,
to say?
you go.
I've forgotten now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you mentioned you're having a hard time. So, by like taking such ownership of yourself when you were having a hard time, that can give yourself a lot of power and confidence to move forward as well.
Yes, it does. It does. And it did. I think at that point I was just quick to realise, like, to accept my background, to celebrate it, to not be mad. I remember it was stupid little things. I was like, why would you call me swastik? Why would you call me a name that is a Nazi symbol? Do you know? And it's all of those little things that I just decided to let go and to accept and to love and to appreciate. And it's funny because now I think my best friends are my family. It's my culture, it's my gods, it's my ancestors. They have stuck by me with everything.
That's beautiful.
Over life. And I love it. I love India. I'm love being Hindu. I'm very religious. I'm very devout. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful how that comes across on your Instagram as well. Like, I know that, social media is not the biggest part of your life or anything, but, sometimes you'll post beautiful pictures or videos of your family and like of, rituals or things that you're doing together. And it's so lovely to see that little bit of insight into what you do.
Oh, yeah, I get nervous about putting stuff up sometimes, eh? I wonder if you do too. I wonder if it's just like, I think it's everyone, because you think that you're going to be judged wrongly.
Yeah.
Or would you share it? Do people really want to see that? But I think it's important because it's not because it's a marketing ploy. It's sometimes because I'm feeling something that day.
Yeah.
And usually when I meditate and being so devout, these like bursts of emotions that run through me that shape my painting that day, or shape a practice, or shape a thought, or my views about the world, or the corrupt capitalist system that we have going.
Yeah.
And I'm going on a tangent, but yeah, sometimes
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll just share it because because I follow family on Instagram, because it's the only way to keep in contact with them, is, when your worlds apart. But I'll share it because I don't know, I'm happy to share it. I suppose it made my day. Celebrate it, celebrate your family and your loved ones.
Yeah.
And I truly love them. So
yeah, and that's how it definitely comes across, that you're celebrating them.
Yeah. It's like, I guess that's it. I think it's just human nature, to love, to have compassion, to celebrate our loved ones.
And we look for connections too, like whether it be with family or with friends or through the tattoo community. Like, we're really looking for connections. And that's how I use social media. Like, I see it as invitational, like, any images I put up of myself, my cats, my life, or anything that's not necessarily a tattoo, I feel like I'm communicating who I am and who I want to be, so that my potential clients, they can decide if they relate to that or not, and if they're going to be comfortable.
Yeah, I totally agree as well, because I remember way before I had tattoos, I was quite intimidated to go into a tattoo shop. It was scary.
It was so scary.
It was so cool. Yeah, I know, and they're all covered in tattoos. And I think it was way before Instagram even. Like, I think I didn't even have a MySpace back then. So it was way before Instagram. It was actually a really long time ago. And I just remember, like, thinking, oh, I hope this person that I get tattooed by is nice. I hope we have a lots to talk about. Or if we don't talk about, I hope the silence isn't awkward. But I think now having that option to have social media and to be able to share little bits and pieces of your life, you're able to create that. You are a sort of element of connection. Like, you know, you post something of your cat, maybe someone's got the same cat, you know, and they want a portrait of their cat because they're like, well, you have the same cat, so we can talk about our cats and I feel comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Like,
and to be able to trust someone, you need to feel a connection, I think.
Yes, exactly. And I think, like, I don't know, everyone can choose how they want to market themselves. There's no right or wrong at all. You are entitled to do what you want to do. And so, yeah, like, I love seeing pictures of people with their loved ones, with their husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, if it's their birthday, with their cats. You know, I love seeing photos of tattooers that I admire with other tattooers, and it just makes my heart smile. Perhaps they've done a collaborative painting and they've got a picture of them holding the painting. It's just really sweet sometimes, you know. So I agree. Yeah.
It is. I love that too, because like my dream for tattooing is that we can be a really positive community for each other, because, you know, in the town that I've tattooed in, a lot of experiences have been negative, where we see each other as competition, or like, you know, you can't be friends with them because they work at that other shop. But I'm like,
oh man,
I love it when other shops come together. I love it when tattooers from, you know, so-called competing studios work together. It's just so heartwarming.
Yeah, and it should seriously, like, isn't that what it should be about? Because at the end of the day, like, going deeper and being a bit more of a tripper, we're all the same. We're all made of flesh, blood, piss, bones. No one's better than anyone else.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And so, you know, that sort of side, I think you're going to get that in anything now. Now we're going, like, especially in this sort of mad capitalistic world.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's tattooing or if it's something else. I think you're always going to get that. But that's what I love about, I don't know if you feel the same way. There's a couple of tattooers that I truly idolize and love and can't wait to get tattooed by. And I think they've been tattooing pre-Instagram generation. And I think that I see them with other tattooers, and you can see the real love and a real sense of community and a real friendship, because they would have relied solely on visiting each other at shops or like bumping into someone at a gig, you know, organising dinners to be able to have that. But I think that whole notion of competition has been something, and I was having a chat to a girlfriend about this actually. I think social media has a lot to do with that now, creating that sort of air, as well as what you were saying, like in the physical, you know, when certain shops aren't meant to interact with each other, which I just find really sad, because we can learn from each other.
We're missing out on opportunities.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yeah, man, I agree. I absolutely agree. Like, there's so many people where like, you just think about some of those incredible realism artists. I'd love to learn what they do. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to watch a realism tattooer just do their thing, because it's something that I could never do, and I find it so fascinating.
And by being friendly with each other and watching each other and spending time with each other, that's how we learn and improve.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's why traveling is so great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it puts things into perspective a lot.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Do you get a chance to travel much with your work?
I haven't recently. I go to India like twice a year.
That's
sometimes
awesome.
go to Nepal. I sort of get my inspiration to, as soon as I go to India and I come back, I'm re-energized and re-inspired, and then I'll start creating. But I haven't really had the chance to travel for work, and I'm not sure when I will, especially with the current situation at the moment.
It makes
I
it hard.
was gonna, yeah, I know, right? I was gonna this year. I wanted to get tattooed by some people that I love their work overseas. But after this, it obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'd love to travel at some point and tattoo and learn, watch people tattoo and grow more as an artist.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
You definitely do. I know that like just every single time I get tattooed by someone and watching them work, I'll pick up like a little trick. And like I'm not copying their work or anything, but you just like learn a little trick, whether it be like the way they flick their wrist or I don't know, the way that they dip between colors or I don't know, just like little tiny subtleties that you notice and that can change everything for you.
Oh man, yes. I feel like I pick up on those things every day when I'm at work. Like when I stop for 10 minutes and go downstairs to watch someone tattoo or just to say g'day, I'll pick something up that I just don't know why I didn't like think of that way before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, your life would have been heaps easier if you did that.
That's why I love working with so many people. Like there's 7 of us at the moment in the studio and it's so nice. Like, yeah, like getting the different opinions and critiques and watching them work and everyone's got such a different way of going about it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love that. I also love how people can help you just being that second set of eyes. Like when you put a stencil on and just having an awesome work colleague that's there to go, look, I think it's like 2 mil off.
Yeah.
Has saved me so many times. Because in your mind, you think it's straight and then someone will tell you and be like, oh, shit, I was so off, you know? So
because we do get like this kind of weird blinker on for ourselves where like, you know, in our mind, we've decided how we want it to look. So sometimes it's really hard to see it as it actually is other than how we intend it to look. So, you know, you might think a stencil straight and then someone will be like, oh, no, maybe not.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm so grateful for that. I love the people I work with. They're so funny and so talented and so helpful, and I'm so grateful to be there because it's Mimsy, you know, you interviewed Mimsy, so yeah, it's at Trailer Trash.
Such an amazing crew.
Yeah, she's special though.
She is. I love how we were both talking before the interview about how, you know, when we guested with Mimsy, it kind of like changed everything for us and you get to open your eyes and be like, oh, wow.
Yes.
That's what tattooing can be.
Yeah, like how people can be kind. Yeah. I think that'd be nice to see more of that in the industry, you know.
Definitely.
It's free to be kind, isn't it? It's free to, you know, good manners are free.
Yeah.
You don't have to, even if you're stressed, you don't have to, you can just close your door or just be like, guys, I'm just going to chill out today. You know, I've got a big tattoo.
It actually takes so much less energy just to be nice. You know, I feel like, customers who are, tattooers who are cranky with their clients or angry with the people they work with, that takes so much energy out of you. And if you just take a moment to take a breath and smile or, you know,
meditate.
not in the way that men tell women to smile, but smile in the way of like for yourself, you know. Kindness is so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. I think you just find, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I don't know, like you're right, it just takes 2 seconds, hey? And it does. Like if I'm having a shit day or if I haven't meditated and I'm having a really, really rough day, and if it if I don't communicate it with my work colleagues or with my client, I'll snap or I'll be abrupt. And I'll feel guilty about it. So I think my general like vibe is just to chill out, just be kind, just it's, doesn't take too much. And that's just being real, isn't it? People want that.
Absolutely. And it's so nice to have a space where you've got permission to do that too, where you can go in and say, hey guys, like I'm a bit fragile today. So these are my boundaries and I really appreciate you respecting them, and let's have a wonderful day. And it makes everything go so much easier.
So much. Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely. I think, like, as we were saying earlier on, tattooing is stressful as it is.
Yeah.
You always sort of, I don't know, there's been so many times where I've been organised with my drawing, but then I've had to make a change, 5 minutes before the client comes in, and I'm not flustered again, and, and so, yeah, it's so, it's just stressy, but
it is.
I reckon, if you just talk and communicate, then all is good, you know?
Communicating with compassion, we can all be in a much better place.
Yes.
I think tattooing in general could use a lot more compassion. And I feel like this COVID situation has kind of made a lot of us approach each other with more compassion.
Definitely.
I get a lot of really nice messages from other tattooers, and, I do the same in return. I've had some tattooers send me like prints and art like just out of the blue, just because they wanted to do something nice for another tattooer, and it's so lovely.
I agree. I really, really agree. I've done the same. I've sent some some paintings that I've done to special people and their partners. And I've also received lots of love in return, lots of messages from people that are extremely busy that you wouldn't think would ever message you, but they have taken 2 seconds to message you. It really makes my day, just
does.
I mean, I know that it's I know it's like a social media thing, and I do really look forward to meeting these people in real life and having a cuppa with them. But it's nice to get that, because it's I think globally actually it's happened. I've been getting messages from friends that I haven't heard from in so long. So I think this whole COVID situation is really changing that element of people having a bit more compassion, for sure, empathy. And it's just slowing the pace down, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are able to have conversations. It's not a mad rush, which I really like, man. Like, I've eased into just painting every day. Like, I'm cruisy, if we go back to tattooing, sweet, I miss it so much. I miss my clients even more because I love tattooing. But if we have to be in ISO for a bit longer, no sweat, I'll just keep painting because I like painting.
Yeah, it really, it's really nice to be able to decide what to do with your time. And it's overly optimistic, but I really hope that after this we can come out and be like, fuck capitalism, let's burn it all down, let's just have little communities, let's barter and trade, and like...
That's what we were talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
We were just saying. Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's going to be a proper wake-up call, I reckon, Eddy, because, no one's forgotten. Well, I haven't forgotten about the fires, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this has come through. I think it's going to be a huge, huge wake-up call.
Like, if you're not a social activist yet, like, now's the time to get on that train, because we can make some real changes.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But yeah, it's just sort of slowed everything down, for sure, I reckon.
Have you had a lot of time for like the other things in your life that you like, you know, whether it be reading or music or?
Yeah, I've been reading a few books. I'm always listening to music, you see, like when I'm painting, I've always got music. I've always got some jams on. I've been running a lot, just around the block, doing a bit more yoga, having sweet sleep-ins, which never really get the chance to do when you're back at work.
It's been so good sleeping in.
It is. And I've been going to bed at like 8, which is so weird. It's just, I think my body needs it. I think it's just like, you know, I think this time now is time for resting for me, or doing things that I love, or, not sort of hustling so much on drawing for clients, but doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
So what about you? Have you had time to chill?
I have done nothing but chill, but it's good because I think, you know, the world is so like, everything's so hyper connected and instantaneous and high pressure, and it is that constant hustle, and it's exhausting even if we don't realize like we're being exhausted. You know, you just kind of, it slowly builds up over time, and then one day you wake up and you're like, I can barely breathe, I can barely move, I'm so burnt out. And this came at such a good time for me. Like I'd been probably for 6 months really struggling to hold myself together. Just like I don't have the energy for all these things I want to achieve, and like I don't know how to keep going. And then everything stopped, and then I was just like, I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to make pom-poms, and I'm going to hug the cats.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Is everything okay though? You just needed some time to chill.
Yeah, I just needed some time to chill. Like for me, I have chronic pain from spinal cord injury, so you know, my practice has just always been about finding a balance between the pain and the energy and my drive, you know, which aren't really all connected very well. But I think these opportunities and like you're saying, like using the time to like kind of look at yourself and, you know, meditate on things, and like, it's important, and it's been crucial for me to get back. And I think when I come back to tattooing, I'm going to be so much better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's going to be, you know, I think that we often forget, because tattooing is so high voltage, we often sometimes, I'm sure most of us have been in a situation where we've put tattooing before ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that we're forced to actually step back from that and treat ourselves and look after ourselves and be kind to ourselves during this time.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, we don't want anyone to burn out. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for your spirit.
Yeah. And who made up this rule anyway that we have to work, you know, 5 or 6 days a week, or, you know, 10 hours a day? Like, who decided that?
Don't know.
We're pirates, tattooers. You know, we're supposed to make the rules, and we're supposed to go against the current of everything that's wrong with society. And we're supposed to be, you know, the healers, the ones with wisdom, the ones who communicate our ideas to other people and help people express themselves. And yet we've almost lost who we are as like a group, and like forgotten. Yeah, I don't know. We forgot something.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. And I think like that's why having travel is really good, because it's when you're free to do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're at work, or when you're living and you've got a daily routine, you've got responsibilities within tattooing, but also outside of tattooing, within your personal life, let's say. And then it's hard. It is hard, because you've got to like work, you know, you've got to pay the rent, But then when you get to travel, you've got autonomy because, like, you can work where you want to work, what days you want to work. I often sort of, and I haven't done it yet, but I've assumed and sort of fantasized that traveling with tattooing would be really quite fun because you can guest at the shops that you want to spend one-to-one time with certain people in terms of just knowing them, just watching them tattoo, having the ability to be in their presence, getting to know them, getting to know about their stories, and getting tattooed by them. So I often sort of think like that's when you sort of step away from your routine and your daily life, you've got that, you know, like you said, being a pirate again.
Yeah.
Just traveling and just doing that. So
it's so good.
Yeah.
It's been every time I've had the opportunity to do that. And I know it is certainly a privilege to be able to travel in the first place, but every time I've done it, I've come out a better tattooer.
Yep. Yep.
Do you think like once the borders open back up and things are a bit safer to travel that you'll start planning things then?
I think the first thing is I'm going to organise to go back to India.
Yeah.
I really get grounded there. I do. And I'm such a creature of habit, you see. Like, I think getting out for me, like even doing this interview, I get really kind of nervous and stuff, you know, but I've just got to do it because once you do it, you're all good. Hey.
Yeah.
I will. I just think I don't know if it's going to be this year. I hope it's next year. I've talked to a few people within Australia that I wouldn't mind doing like a guest spot in Melbourne or a guest spot in Sydney.
Yeah.
There's some incredible people just even in Australia. Hey, we've got some awesome tattooers, man.
We have so much talent here.
So much. And I really want to get tattooed by like a few people, but I'm running out of space. So I gotta I don't know what I'm gonna do, eh?
I've actually been like getting stuff like lasered off because I'm like, I need more room.
Yeah, see, I'm too scared. I think I'm just gonna do the cover up route. I want to redo my whole body, I think.
Wow.
I think I'll stick to one person to do that, but yeah, it's just too I've got to sort that out. But no, I don't know. I'd like to say I think India and Nepal would be priority one when the borders open up.
Yeah.
But after that, no idea.
Do you get to tattoo with your family when you go back over there?
I do tattoo in India.
Yeah.
Nana's really old. She's actually not well. She had a fall. She's not with it. You know, it's interesting. They regress back to being children. Like she, when we saw her last, I think just seeing Mum like step out of the auto made her cry. Saying goodbye by the balcony because she couldn't get up to get to the balcony made her cry because she doesn't have any teeth anymore. And bless, she's so healthy though because like her brother is 105.
Wow.
Yeah, he's so cute. They're like they go for a walk which is like 10 meters long.
No,
it's so funny. It's so cute. Yeah, they're good friends. But anyway, so I tattoo there, not with family, but I tattoo family, yes. And often I'll just bring my own machines and I'll draw up a real quick flash that's kind of easy to do and just tattoo. Mostly people want religious symbols, because they're full Brahmin, so they're not eating meat. They're practicing Hindu. No one really sort of gets like a big sleeve or anything. Like I said, it's sort of ritualistic tattoos, small tattoos. Some of the women get kolam, just little ones though, you know. But there is this beautiful Ramayana community elders. They have they're completely covered from head to toe, and they have the script or the Sanskrit to Rama tattooed horizontally across their body from like forehead down to their pinky toe. It's sensational.
That's
if you
amazing.
have a chance to ever look at it, I don't know, check out the photos online. They're very powerful. They're really beautiful. But yeah, it's like no pressure, fun times tattooing when I go back home. Hey.
Oh wow. Do you ever learn about the healing kind of tattoos from your grandma? Has she passed that down to you?
She has. And it's something that I think, how's it going to sound? It's like, this is an example, like when I was young and I saw Nana do it for the first time when I was like a kid, I'd say, Amma, Pati enna pandra, like what is she doing? And my mum would explain to me then what the reason was. And so, you know, remembering that and then being taught by not only my grandma, but by many other elders, by a lot of the gurus working in the temples, in our family temples.
Oh, wow.
Because it'll happen outside the temple as well. So, yes, I do. I have that knowledge and I have those stories. And often I'm really grateful because it's like oral storytelling tradition. So it always makes me quite emotional when someone shares a story like that with me, because you know, you take, if they leave this world, you're never going to forget their words, are you? So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so I love hearing people's history and visual languages and what they put of themselves into their tattooing, and just seeing how it influences their tattooing and how it makes them different and what they can bring. Like it's so special that it's such an individual thing. I love it.
Yeah, I reckon, hey, with everyone's like, no one's the same, I don't think. Do you know, like everyone, say like if you do traditional and like this, you do a rose, but the way that you do a rose is going to be so different to the way that someone else does a rose. Absolutely. From the drawing to the application to the follow through to everything.
Yeah, and even the intention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. In regards to the divine feminine, how do you think that can play a part in creating more balance and equality in tattooing?
So, like the divine feminine, I suppose, is we as humans, we have both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I think, you know, having female energy within tattooing is so imperative, just because it just adds to having a bit more diversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and by being open-minded and having, you know, a lot more compassion. I'm not saying people aren't compassionate, you know, regardless of race, gender, you know, regardless of all of that. You know, there's people that are compassionate and there's people that often might feel that being compassionate is a sign of weakness, you know? And I feel like, you know, the tattoo shop that I apprenticed at was not a great tattoo shop for me to continue and grow. It was all guys, and it had, I don't think they got me. I don't think it was something that, I think it was sort of cast away, or having that sort of, that notion of divine feminine or having compassion was sort of seen as a weakness. Whereas I really think it's such a powerful thing, because by having more feminine energy or celebrating it along with the divine masculine, I'm not trying to categorize here, it's just going to give us that potential to be diverse within the tattooing industry as a whole, and to be open-minded. Both are necessary when wanting to grow artistically, as well as within like the application of tattooing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the divine feminine and the divine masculine are such a important part of or your spirituality as well. Like,
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. That's true. Yeah, I think like because I've grown up with it and it being embedded into my culture, into my cultural practice, into my religion, and being a devout Hindu, it shapes my tattooing practice a lot because it's that equal level of respect for whoever, regardless of their gender, race, religion, whatever background. Like I said, tattooing is non-discriminatory. It means different things for different people. And as long as you're over the consent age, it's different in the East. Like it's different. I can only speak for what happens within tattooing in India. And, you can get tattooed as young as 10, if not younger in India. It's a completely different context and scenario. But at the end of the day, tattooing does not discriminate. So I would assume in the Western world, if you're over the consent age, it's having the divine feminine, divine masculine, it's just gonna allow us to have more diversity and be open-minded.
Absolutely. And I feel really sad for a lot of people in Western culture where we're conditioned to believe that showing emotions like compassion and empathy are a weakness. And, so many people go through their lives just being full of fear and anger and pain because they don't have an avenue to express it. And, I see it happening so much in tattooing where there's like a lot of really toxic behaviors or, a lot of like really angry people who if they just took a moment.
I've seen that.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's such an issue. That. If they just took a moment to just be ugly. Like a little bit kind to themselves to express their emotions in a healthy way, then they can be kinder to other people and understand that it's not like masculine versus feminine. Both are equal and important and necessary.
I love that. I love that you said it like that. You've said, I love that, Eddy. And I think, man, there's no separation between gender, race, sexual preference. There is unity, and there should be unity. And part of that unity is like, obviously there should be community, which you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And through all of that, you're going to have people should be free to not feel silenced. They should be able to not think that being empathetic or compassionate or creating trippy art, surreal art, whatever kind of art they want is not like without it being a weakness. Yeah. You know how we were talking about earlier, whereas like, beautiful surreal art is considered like, wow, that's so abstract. But then when it's within the tattooing context, it's very much like, oh, well, that doesn't make a good tattoo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To say that. Yeah. Because I feel like part of meditating and practicing this craft or being an artist is like being able to, as you were saying, like to be able to have an outlet where you can release that emotion in a positive way. Part of that is like being able to release it through your expression of art, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by doing that and being in an environment that accepts that, where people accept, they don't have to love it. They don't even have to like it. But they can be respectful, as long as they're not saying anything neggy that's hurtful. Constructive criticism is so different to taking a dig at someone's art.
Absolutely. Constructive criticism has a lot of value in what we do, but like, you mentioned to me that, sometimes you've worked in situations where people have laughed at you for being spiritual, and it's just like, That is just such an insane thought, to not respect another person's practice.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's only made me stronger. On a side note, it's only made me stronger. It's not stopped me from obviously continuing to do what I do, because I don't think I've ever stopped creating trippy shit or Hinduism-based imagery, tattoos, spiritual stuff, things that mean a lot to me, things that I feel I'm well educated about. I'm not even going to try and attempt to do something that I don't know anything about, because it's not going to come from a place of love, and it's sure as hell not going to look that great,
Yeah.
But when I'm drawing something that I know, despite the adversity and attacks on it, I'm still going to continue doing it, because it's like, well, man, that's all I know, because I guess I'm Indian, so I know about it, so I'm going to paint it. And so, yeah, like, I think at the end of the day, how does the divine feminine influence or can influence the tattooing industry? I think just by adding to diversity and by creating awareness, being open-minded, celebrating, having compassion or compassionate, or having deep thinking, instead of it sort of being swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Like, art is subjective, as we were saying. Not everyone's going to like it, not everyone's going to love it, but there's going to be people out there that are going to love it. And I also think at the end of the day, you create it for yourself, especially during this ISO period. I've been just painting for myself, man, seeing how far I can go with my drawings, experimenting with different mediums. Am I proud of it? Yeah, it's all right. It could be way better. I could have done that better. I'll do it better next time.
Yeah. I mean, we can always do everything better, but we just got to enjoy it in the moment.
Constant. Exactly. I think it's one of those things where, what do they say? It's when you do 10,000 hours, you're a master. I'm like, nah, I think I've immersed myself in a craft where I'm always going to be learning. I don't think I'll ever stop.
No.
Even if I do it till the very end, I'll probably pick up a trick.
Yeah.
When I'm like 90. Yeah. But yeah, love, I think that's it. Hey, to answer that question.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
No worries.
Well, before we finish up today, is there anything else that you would like to touch on, or that you'd like to share with the listeners, or, that you'd like to communicate at all?
Well, I can't think of anything at the top of my head, but I just wanted to say that I had a really lovely time chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been so lovely
and
to
having
talk
a chat
to you.
Before this chat too. It was just real nice.
Yeah.
Sharing thoughts.
And today's the first time we've ever actually had a chance to chat. Like, I've followed you for a while on social media, but, and message and email. No.
Did we ever meet at the Flash Day though? I'm pretty sure I feel like we did.
Because you did the Brisbane and I did the Sydney one. So it was literally just all on Instagram. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, I feel like it's just one of those things when you have a good feeling with someone. It's like what we were saying earlier, like when you sort of idolize someone and then you're like mimsy, right? And then you meet that person in real life and the way they hold themselves and their grace and their respect to you and their kindness to you just seems to just make you love them even more, and it shocks you. Yeah. And it's like, chatting to you, it's just sort of, you're a real sweetheart. I had a really good time. Thanks for it.
Ditto.
Yeah. And I can't wait to meet in real life.
I know, same. I really need to come visit. Yes.
Yeah, likewise. We'll have to do a trade.
I would love that. I'm such a huge fan of your work.
Likewise, lovely. I've just, it's one of those things. Once I get around to it, I'll message you and we can do a bit of a trade.
That would be perfect.
It's like that juggling act of trying to find time to chill and then finish other commissions and create available flash.
Yeah. Maybe one day when you've got your van and you're traveling around. And
yes, I can come take showers in your house and then stay in the van.
Awesome.
No,
well, for our listeners, you'll be able to find out more information about Swastik through Instagram. If you head over to notjustagirl_tattoo, we'll have all of the links and information. I'll put them in the show notes as well. And make sure you subscribe and follow and share and spread the love. Thank you so much to Swastik for chatting to me today and sharing your story, and for letting our listeners hear your story as well. I think everyone really appreciates it, and I really hope everyone has a beautiful day.
Thanks, love. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has an awesome day. And thank you for listening to me rant on just random stuff. I hope that made sense. Anyway, but yes, thank you.